Okay. So I believe we are done with the discussion ng ating chapter 3 last time that we have met. No. So as I have told you, from then na we are going to start na discussing with the topics that are included in our research proposal. So, konting review lang, like last time, we already discussed the all about the research problem, research objectives. No, we discussed the different characteristics of a research problem and how are we going to generate and formulate the research objectives in line with this research problem. No, so uh, since today, no, so we are done with yung kumbaga parang content ng ating chapter 1. Ngayon, we are going to proceed with the content of our chapter 2, which is the literature review. No. Okay? So, by definition, in line with engineering, the literature review involves a comprehensive examination of existing research and publications relevant to a specific topic or research questions. It helps to establish a foundation for new research by identifying gaps, trends, and establish knowledge in the field. So basically, pag sinabing literature review, yan yung maghahanap tayo ng iba't ibang sources. May it be books, may it be catalog, may it be researches or information that are available through online using scholarly web pages. No, so mahanap tayo ng mga ganong information and we try to review it. No, we try to examine it because it will be included, no, so that we can have yung information that we can use in the current study that we are doing. Okay? So ano ba ang purpose kung bakit tayo ay nag-conduct ng literature review? So unang-una is to establish context. Okay? It provides background information and sets the stage for the research. So from the last time that we have discussed, ang after nating i-identify yung research problem, the second step that we have or we must have to do is to conduct the literature review. No, because natin makikita that there is a possibility that we can conduct the research. Feasible naman siya. No, because of this literature review, kumbaga, based on the information that we get, we can say na kaya nating matapos at kayang ituloy yung research natin. Okay? And then also, yung second po na purpose ng literature review is to identify the gaps. No? So, um, using the literature review, na-highlight natin ano ba yung mga areas or what are the factors that we have to have yung further research, okay? So that mas ma-achieve pa natin yung tina-target natin na output compared doon sa current na meron or existing na meron in relation to the topic that we are researching. No? And then, the third reason or purpose ng literature review is to avoid duplication. So, so kapag tayo ay nag-literature review, kapag naghanap tayo ng mga information, lalo kapag mga research literatures, kapag nakita natin na, ay, yung idea pala na naiisip mo, yung possible na solution na gusto mong gawa ng, solution na gawan mo, na pwede, na gusto mong gawa ng study, kapag nag-literature review, makikita natin na, okay, kapag meron tayong nakitang same na ng gagawin, we opted na wag na lang ituloy because sabi nga, there will be a tendency na kapag inulit pa natin siya, that will be a duplication na ng previous study. So, dahil tayo nag-research, nagiging aware tayo na no need na siyang gawin, hindi na siya pwedeng ituloy kasi nagiging duplication kung itutuloy pa natin. Okay? While the fourth naman na purpose ng literature review is to develop yung framework. So kung kanina nakaka-establish tayo ng context, no? Kumbaga, nalilinawan na okay, pwede pala natin gawin yung research natin. Feasible siya. Pwede nating matapos with the data that we have, with the information that we have. Dito naman, kapag ka tayo po ay nag-literature review, yung tulong na nagagawa na is that dahil nga marami na tayong nababasa, marami tayong nakikita na information na related sa topic title natin, then doon na tayo nakakapag-formulate ng atin po na research questions as well as yung pong methodologies na gagamitin doon sa i-conduct natin na research. No, diga sabi nga, ang anong tawag dito, yung pong yung framework natin, conceptual, yan yung pong magiging backbone ng ating research. Yan yung magiging roadmap in conducting the research. So, kapag naghanap tayo ng mga possible sources na related at marami tayong nakuha, then doon possible tayong makukuha, maka-generate nitong question and methodologies po na pwede nating gawin. Okay? And then yung last po na purpose ng literature is to support findings. No? So this literature review provides the basis on how are we going to interpret po the research results. Okay. So for example, doon sa aking sample na study sa inyo, which is the design and development of a tomato candy machine. No? So if you look for sources, books, research studies, no? So there is really a tendency na meron kang makukuha na justification or basis sa lahat ng gagawin mo sa iyong study. For example, pwede daw based on certain research ni ganitong author, no? Sabi doon ay we can say that a candy is really a candy if the moisture content na na-measure is nasa range ng, for example, 10 to 15%. So, pwede natin sabihin, okay, it is qualified as a candy. No? So, once na tayo po ay nag-testing at mineasure natin noon, then we can say na yung output natin is really a candy and an acceptable one, no? Based sa literature. Okay? So, isang part po ng pagko-conduct ng literature review, no, like yung sa second natin na purpose, is for us to identify the gaps. And in identifying the gaps, there is a process that we can do, no, para to know, no, ano ba talaga ang kailangan nating mga gaps na kailangan nating punan, how are we going to kumbaga to lessen or kumbaga to fill in those gaps para ma-achieve natin yung um anong tawag dito, yung target output natin, no? So in this time, we can conduct this what we call the gap analysis. Okay? So by definition, the gap analysis is a methodical approach that is used para ma-compare natin yung kung current state noong isang entity. Meaning, it can be in line with business, in line in a specific process, or even the system. No, to be compared to the desired future state mo as a researcher, wherein ang main goal natin is unang-una nga is to identify the gaps, and then after noon we look for some strategies, we devise strategies to bridge them. Okay? So pagdating po sa context ng research, the gap analysis is a very good help in identifying the areas na hindi pa ganun na-explore o ito yung mga areas na kailangan na mas kumbaga mapag-aralan pa natin, no? So, this gap analysis is a valuable tool in research, particularly in the engineering fields like mechanical, petroleum, and automotive engineering, but actually to all engineering field. Okay? So, by systematically identifying and addressing gaps, researchers can contribute to significant advancement in their fields, ensuring that their work is both relevant and impactful. Okay? So, you can see on page 26 uh, the figure of the gap analysis, wherein you can see there, uh, wherein you are to identify the current state, and then you define also what will be your desired state. And dun sa pagitan po ng dalawang ito, dyan natin ilalagay lahat ng mga gaps, or kumbaga, what are the factors na nagiging reason bakit may gap tayo. No? And for all those gaps or factors, no, lalagyan natin siya ng action plan, no, para kumbaga kahit paano, sabi nga natin, to lessen or to fill in those gaps, no, in relation to all that factors. Okay? So, paano ba tayo magko-conduct nitong gap analysis? No. So, we have a total of 6 steps, no, para magawa iyon. Okay? So, una po dyan is, kailangan muna nating i-determine, no, yung pong current status pagdating dun sa research field na ginagawan po natin ng um, yung gagawan po natin ng study, papaano yun? By conducting this literature review. No? So, after nating mag-conduct ng literature review, andyan na yung kailangan po natin na i-summarize the findings as well as the methodologies and the conclusion of the relevant studies that we have included or find during the process of reviewing the literature. No? And then the second step po is, once na ma-determine na yung current status, ngayon, we are to establish naman, no, we are to define what will be our goals, no, or yung objectives po dun sa ating kinokonduct na research. Ano bang gusto nating mangyari? No. So we identify ano ba yung ideal mo na scenario, no? Ano ba yung gusto mong makita in the end after conducting the research. Ano bang ini-expect mo? No, sabi nga dyan, comprehensive, detailed understanding of the topic that you would like to have after conducting the research. No. And then number 3 po is for you to compare yung current state doon po sa desired future state natin. So, na-identify na-determine ang current status, na-identify na ang goal. Ngayon, pagkukumparahin natin siya. No, pagkukumparahin natin sa iba't ibang aspeto, may it be in terms of process, in terms of materials, in terms of the kind of resources needed, so on and so forth. No, so marami tayong kailangang kumbaga factors na i-check kapag tayo nagkukumpara. No. So once na tayo ay nag-compare, obviously, ang magiging result niyan is ma-identify or makikita natin what are the discrepancies. No, ano ba ang naging reason bakit nagkaroon ng differences. No. And then also makikita natin what are the unanswered question, saan yung areas kung kailan kung saan kulang yung information na available, no. And then kapag na-compare na natin yung dalawa, then we are to evaluate yung importance po at yung impact ng mga na-identify natin na gap. No? I-evaluate natin yan. Halimbawa, meron tayong 5. No, may 5 tayo na na-identify na gap. Kumbaga, i-rank natin siya based sa kahalagahan at the same time yung impact niya, no, once na siya ay magawa, no. And then from there, once na kumbaga ma-rank na natin, we prioritize them based sa mga factors such as, is it relevant, feasible ba siya, is there a potential pagdating sa advancement ng knowledge, no, may malaki bang maiitulong pagdating sa body of knowledge, may madadagdag ba, no? So we are to check on that, no. Tapos kapag na-rank na natin siya, na-prioritize na natin kung ano yung dapat unahin, no, then we create na the strategy para ma-address po natin yung pinaka-critical na gap, No? So doon we are going to define what are the specific research questions, what are the methodologies that can be applied, and yun pong mga resources na kakailanganin para po ma-fill in natin yung mga gaps. Na, okay? And then number 6 po, yan. So dahil nakapag-create na tayo ng strategy, ngayon ay di i-conduct na natin yung research natin as plan, as following yung strategy na in-address natin. Sabi nga, diga, ang research it has a systematic approach wherein we make the research or we are using a fixed plan whenever we are conducting a research. No. So hindi lang just to follow or conduct yung kung ano man yung nakaplano but to continuously monitor yung progress. No? So sa bawat araw ba na kinokonduct natin yung research, ano na yung nagagawa natin? No, ano na yung na-achieve natin? Or in case, halimbawa, na merong medyo delay, no, medyo hindi na nakaakma based dun sa plan natin, then for that, we have to adjust, no, if it is really necessary para magkaroon tayo ng, kumbaga in the end, magkaroon talaga ng findings and makapakakuha ng bagong development. No? So, okay. So, we already know what are the steps in conducting the gap analysis. Pero ano ba ang benefit nito? Ano ba ang benefit kapag nag-gap analysis tayo? No, so unang-una, syempre, kapag nag-gap analysis, malalaman mo talaga yung gap. No, anong ibig sabihin nun? We can identify na the specific areas na kailangan nating bigyan ng attention, no, to ensure na yung research efforts natin ay talagang ma-target and that yung process ng conduct ng research natin will be effective. No. So because we have this gap analysis, sabi nga natin, nalalaman natin what will be the discrepancies, ano ang kailangan gawin. And because of that, dun sa available na resources na meron tayo, alam na natin kung paano siya i-divide or paano natin siya i-allocate. No, of course, prioritizing yung pinaka-critical po dun sa mga gaps na na-identify natin. No? Same with benefit, it is a benefit of gap analysis na syempre makapag-explore, no, para magkaroon ng bagong ideas as well as the methodologies and approaches uh, by highlighting yung mga unexplored areas natin. Okay? And this gap analysis assists in developing clear, actionable plans to advance the field of study. Okay? So, it also promotes yung pong collaboration with other disciplines, no, by identifying yung mga gaps na kumbaga natatouch nung field nila with our field. No? So, kumbaga sa more sa anong tawag dito doon sa specific topic natin, yung iba't ibang areas of study, no? So, baka dun sa problem na to, nako-cover yung field na ito, yung field na ito. And then from there, kumbaga, nagagawa natin ng way na makapag-collaborate tayo to finish yung isang research, no? So, you can see also there one of the example ng gap analysis in line with engineering research. So, yung topic title natin dito is the advancement ng hybrid electric vehicle or HEV technologies. Okay? So, katulad nung nabanggit kanina or yung steps sa pagko-conduct ng gap analysis, dapat daw una ay i-identify natin yung current state. No? So here, ang current state natin is that, we should review yung mga existing research na nag-show nitong battery technologies. As of today, ano ba ang meron na pagdating dito sa batteries? No? Ano na ba ang pinakabago nowadays? Ano ba ang mga electric motors na currently ay ginagamit para ma-run itong HEV na ito? No. If in case, since this is hybrid, no, so gagamit ka dyan ng fuel, gagamit ka dyan ng electricity. No. So, ano ba ang mga currently na mga studies, improvement studies in line with kumbaga fuel efficiency. No? And then of course, since this is a technology, a vehicle, no? So we are to check also yung environment. Ano ba ang mga currently ay mga emission control technologies. Okay? And then next po is that sa pasok dun sa current state natin is ano yung mga findings ng mga yung mga improvements no, pagdating dito sa battery efficiency. So example niyan is this lithium ion no. What are the innovative, ano yung bagong labas ng mga electric motor designs as well as yung mga strategies pagdating po sa pagre-reduce ng fuel consumption as well as yung emission when we use vehicle technologies. Okay? So, after identifying yung current state, again, sabi yung step 2 natin, i-define naman natin yung desired future state. Kung saan, in line with this current state, we identify, unang-una, we should have a comprehensive understanding ng potential improvement po ng HEV technologies. No? So from there, since kumbaga comprehensive, kailangan matakil dyan. No, we have to identify ano ba ang pinaka-efficient, ano ang pinaka-cost effective, at ano ang pinaka-sustainable technologies na pwede nating kumbaga ay ma-adopt ano or mai-apply in relation to HEV technologies. No? And then also, yan, ilagay natin, dapat daw magkaroon tayo ng detailed analysis of long-term impacts on environmental sustainability and economic viability. So of course, sabi doon ay wala pa masyado. Kumbaga, kung kulang pa ang study pagdating sa mga emission control, fuel efficiency improvements ng mga study din, kailangan dito sa study natin magkaroon ng ganun. No, na ma-check natin yung environmental sustainability as well as economic viability nung gagawin natin in the end. No, so, after natin na-establish, ma-determine yung current status, ma-establish yung goals, which is yung desired future state, then we are to identify naman yung atin pong mga gaps, no, yung discrepancies na sinasabi, no, yung unanswered questions, no, yung areas kung saan tayo naglalak, no. So from there, no, from our current state and the desired future state, there makikita natin that there is a lack of research pagdating sa integration or paggamit ng renewable energy sources sa mga HEV charging infrastructure, no? Ano pa? So, there is also a gap pagdating sa data and information na gagamitin natin pagdating sa pag-analyze. Bakit? There is inefficient data dun sa mga long-term performance and degradation ng mga new battery technologies under real-world condition. So, since this is the current state, the problem is that yung mga technology natin, yung battery natin, yun na may tinitis bago natin gamitin, no? Bago natin siya ah kumbaga i-manufacture ng maramihan. Tinetest naman siya. But then, kumbaga, sabi nga dito, kulang naman yung data. Natitest natin. We already know na yung life niya will be from 2 to 3 years. Nandiyan yung average. But, wala tayong data. Ano ba talaga nangyayari sa totoong buhay na ginagamit natin yung battery na iyon? Kulang, wala tayong data. Baka naman yan ay mas mababa pa sa 2 taon or baka naman kaya niyang mag-exceed up to 3 to 4 years. Ano? And then also, yan, limited din ang study ng consumer acceptance and behavior towards adopting advanced HEV technologies. So basically, um, kulang nga, no, sabi nga, yung mga commuters natin or yung mga drivers natin, no, sila aware sila na ang ginagamit lang talaga na technology is yun pong gumagamit ng fuel. Nung gumagamit ng fuel, talagang dadaan ka ng gas station para kumandar yung sasakyan mo. No? Are they open? Kumbaga, if in case mag-proceed itong hybrid electric vehicle na ito, will they be very much accommodating pagdating dun sa idea? Are they open na gamitin siya, utilize? No, so ayan, need natin ng study pagdating dyan. And then next po, ayan. So we can have, pagdating naman sa economic sustainability, yan. Kulang ang analysis natin pagdating sa life cycle environmental impacts with these HEVs compared doon sa mga traditional na vehicles. Okay? So after natin siyang ma-compare at makita natin yung mga gaps and discrepancies, then we are to evaluate those gaps, no? And we are to evaluate yung importance and then yung nga pong impact ng mga na-identify natin na gap. So then, ipaprioritize natin ngayon kung alin yung kailangang mauna. So, syempre, meron naman tayong kailangan i-consider dyan. Factors to be considered. If yan ba ay relevant, kung yan ba ay feasible, kung yan ba ay possible or potential na magkaroon. Pwede tayong magkaroon ng new body of knowledge. No? So, in this example natin, you can see there the ranking, kumbaga, yung kailangan nating gawin based dun sa dun sa gap na na-identify natin. Wherein, ang number one is nag-focus or ang priority is the integration ng renewable energy, no? Uh, and HEV charging infrastructure, which is critical pagdating sa sustainable development, no? And then, second one is, ayan, yung long-term battery performance data wherein we are going to conduct this evaluation para ma-assess natin yung viability and reliability ng ating new technology. And then yung third is paano ba siya tatanggapin ng ating mga consumer. We are going to conduct this study which is necessary para maintindihan how are we going to kumbaga yung sa process ng adoption ng barriers and para po ma-enhance yung market penetration if we in the end ay di atin pong if i-manufacture na itong HEV na ito, no? And then also we are to check yung life cycle environmental impact analysis which is vital pagdating sa comprehensive sustainability assessment. Okay? So, ayun na ha, nandun na tayo, di kayo na 6 na step. So, after natin na, fourth step na yung prioritizing ng ating, no, yaya. Huwag malikot, anak. Okay. So, tapos na tayo dun sa pagpa-prioritize ng mga identified gaps natin. So, from there, we are to create na the strategy. No, sabi, para ma-address natin yung ating critical gaps. No? So, we are to propose an action plan wherein in line with our example, una, ay di ayan nga, we are to conduct interdisciplinary researches combining yung atin po na anong tawag dito, engineering as well as the usage ng renewable energy studies to explore the integration solution. And then dun sa second natin na gap, we should initiate long-term field studies and data collection on new battery technologies in various operating conditions. Okay? And then number 3 is to design and implement yung surveys and behavior. Baby, quiet. Anak. Design and implement surveys and behavioral studies to gather data on consumer acceptance and usage patterns. Okay? And then in line with the fourth gap, so we are to perform life cycle assessments comparing environmental impacts of HEVs with those of traditional and other alternative vehicles. Okay? So this is a general action plan with regards to those gaps. So kapag kayo na ang gumawa, so syempre mas maganda na mas detalyado pa No, mas detalyado pa yung gagawin ninyo. No, kumbaga bawat proseso para magawa ito like itong long-term field study, ano yung methods na gagawin, ano yung sino yung mga participant natin. So nakalagay diyan, no. So after nating magawa yung action plan, no, after nating makapag-create ng strategy, then we are to conduct the research as planned. No. So we are to implement na no yung pong plinano natin. No? So, in line with those gaps, so, unang gagawin natin is, yan, i-allocate natin yung mga resources muna natin, and then we collaborate with industry partners to carry out the research. No? So, syempre, kailangan makipag-partner tayo para mas maging madali ang trabaho. At the same time, mabawasan na rin yung resources na kakailanganin kasi may ibang tao na magpo-provide noon para sa atin. Ano? And the number two, monitor the progress through regular reviews and adopt the research plan as new insights which are gained. No? So, hindi naman ano lang na implement lang ng implement. Dapat kailangan po ma-monitor din natin siya every step of the way. Ano ba ang na-achieve na? No? Ano pa ba ang hindi? No? Ano pa ba yung dapat nagawa na pero hindi pa nagawa? So that we can adjust. No? Pwede tayong mag-adjust kung kumbaga ano ba ang gagawin natin na necessary action para lang kumbaga maka-recover tayo and para makasabay pa rin tayo kung ano ba yung nakaplano. No. And then after noon is we are going to publish in peer-reviewed. Pag natapos na lahat, naka-collect na tayo ng data, meron na tayong findings, so on and so forth. Then we publish findings in peer-reviewed journals and present at conferences to share knowledge and receive feedback. No? So, katulad nga ng nadaanan natin, researchers should be communicated. No? Anong purpose? Para kumbaga kayo as a researcher, makapag-share kayo ng knowledge and information, no, so that it will also allow others to learn, no, sa inyo. No, at the same time, yan nga, para maka-receive ka ng feedback, no, critic yung iyong paper, mabigyan ka ng comments and suggestion para naman mas mag-improve kung halimbawang gagawan mo siya ng improvement kung sakasakali. No. So, ayun, that will be the step-by-step procedure in doing the gap analysis. Okay? So, ano ba yung again, nabanggit ko kanina that gap analysis is a part ng conducting ng literature review. No? Wait lang ha, wait lang. Anak, lang. Wait. Okay. So, um, part ng literature review yung pagko-conduct ng gap analysis, no? But what will be the work workflow ba pagdating sa pagko-conduct naman itong literature review, no? So, dun nga sa pagko-conduct natin ng literature review, it involves several key steps that help organize and synthesize the existing research sa isang particular na topic. So, dito po, meron tayong structured no, na workflow pagdating sa pagko-conduct ng literature review. Okay? So, it starts with defining the research question or yung research problem natin. So, ito naman, kumbaga, paulit-ulit na nating ginawa, no? Or diniscuss na ito talaga yung unang-unang step, no? Na kailangan ma-define muna natin yung research question or yung research problem natin, no? Na gusto ninyong i-research or ma-investigate. Sabi nga natin, pagdating sa characteristics ng research, dapat siya ay specific and focused. No, ano yung maalala iyon. No, you have to ensure na yan po is specific and focused. No, so in this step, you are to determine what you want to achieve no, pagdating dun sa literature review. Like for example, ayan nga, you want na ma-identify yung gaps, we want na ma-summarize yung mga findings natin, and then uh, having this kind of research ay you are uh, uh, you have the opportunity na makapag-inform pa sa mga future pa na researcher. No? And then, number two, ayan, is to conduct a preliminary research. Okay. So, paano ba tayo magkukonduct nitong preliminary research na ito? No? So, unang-una, kailangan daw tayo po ay makapag-generate ng listahan ng mga relevant na keywords or phrases na related sa inyo pong research question or sa inyong research problem. No? Tapos, using those keywords, no, ngayon, isa-search mo siya. Isa-search mo siya gamit yung mga academic databases or web pages or search engines po. Okay? Which is, syempre, ang pipiliin mo yung relevant sa iyong field of study. No, for example, meron tayo diyang Google Scholar, may PubMed, may IEEE Explore, may Scopus, may Science Direct. No, so marami na pwede kayong ma-check, na pwede kayong dun mag-research. And then from there, you conduct your preliminary searches using keywords nga to get the overview ng mga available na literature. So, di ba, I don't know, but I think kayo ay since kayo nga ay looking for topic title pa for now, so I guess ito naman ay na-experience nyo na nakakapag sinesearch nyo na siya to this search engines, di ba? Dahil nga naghahanap kayo ng possible na topic na pwedeng gawin. No? So, after noon, kapag kayo nakapag-preliminary search na, you are to review and refine po yung magiging scope na ng inyong study. No? So, meron na tayong nakuhang preliminary data. No? So, we are to assess na yung relevance as well as yung quality ng mga na-identify natin na mga sources pagdating sa doon sa kinonduct natin na preliminary search. No? So, from there, i-adjust natin ngayon yung mga search terms na ginamit natin plus yung criteria based dun sa initial findings natin para magkaroon po ng focus doon sa pinaka or pinakamalapit na or pinaka-relevant na literature dun sa atin na research question or research problem. No. So, after noon, yan, na-refine na-review. Ngayon naman ay di tayo na ay from the preliminary search, we are to conduct the comprehensive literature search. Okay? So, dito sa stage na to or sa step na to, yan, ay magpe-perform na tayo noong thorough search kung saan po, diga dun sa sunundan natin na step, ang gamit na natin ay yung mga refined keywords. Kumbaga, kung dati general wordings lang yung ginamit natin kapag nung nag-search tayo, preliminary searching, ngayon naman, specific na. Specific na yung mga keywords at saka yung criteria na ginamit natin. Kumbaga, meron tayong, ang gamit natin dyan ay ah, general na fruit na mango, no? So dito sa part nito medyo ano na specific na ano ba 'yan? Kinalabaw ba 'yan? Tiko ba 'yan? Ano? Example lang naman, no? So you will be using refined keywords and then criteria. And then of course, once na kayo ay nakapag-research, ay di i-record natin lahat ng mga information na related or relevant dun sa inyong study. May it be um, information na nanggaling sa mga articles, sa mga books, or sa iba't iba pang resources. No? So you are to get, no, you are to include yun pong mga bibliographic details. No? You have to make sure pag meron kayong nakita na information na relevant, okay, sino, saan ang galing yun. Dapat yan ay nakalagay lahat. Lahat ng details. No? Kung hindi man kalibesan, di include na rin pati yung abstract. Ano? Okay? So, next po, no, kapag nakapag-conduct na ng comprehensive na literature, yan. Hindi ang gagawin natin naman is we are to screen and select yung mga relevant po ng mga literatures natin. No. So, kanina nag-ano tayo, nilify natin yung mga keywords, nilify natin ang criteria. Ngayon, i-apply natin yung criteria na napili natin para makapili po tayo ng study na directly ay relevant doon po sa inyong mga research question, research problems, or even sa inyong research objectives. No? So, you should include yung mga criteria such as halimbawa yung publication date katulad nung nabanggit ko sa inyo from our last meeting na kapag kayo ay nag-conduct ng research, it should be kumbaga kung research literature dapat siya ay uh, uh, within 5 years, no, from today 5 years ago yung pinaka oldest na literature na inyong makukuha. No, pero sabi ko nga ay baka mamaya magsabi naman kakaunti po dadalawa yung nakuha. So sige, kahit hanggang 10 years, no. Pero ayan, isa sa criteria natin yan, hanggat maaari, bago, no? Yung study design and then yung relevance nga dun sa atin na topic, no? So you are to exclude those sources that do not meet yung criteria po or kumbaga they have a low quality, no? Pagdating dun sa information na nakuha ninyo. Halimbawa, okay, of course yung mga search engines like Science Direct, Google Scholar. So that is actually high quality na sources of information. But if you use, for example, Wikipedia, which is actually bawal naman talaga siyang gamitin as one of your sources, naku talagang yan ay, kapag may nakita ka agad ako na Wikipedia sa inyong chapter 2, may it be sa conceptual, literature, or sa kung ano man, basta may nakita ako dyan, my only comment is that you repeat your manuscript. No, yun lang. Kasi again, tulad yan, binabanggit ko na sa inyo na hindi siya pwedeng maging source of information. Okay? And then, after nating ma-screen yung mga relevant na literature, ngayon naman ay i-organize na natin yung atin po na literature na na-screen. No? So, we are to group yung mga literature into different categories or different themes based sa, for example, commonalities, pagkakapare-pareho, sa methodologies, kung same ba sila ng methods na ginamit, or sa mga naging results or sa findings po natin. No. So from there, we are going to develop yung bibliography or reference list ng ating mga sources na napili ninyo na i-include dun sa ating review. No, so later on, we are going to discuss ano ba ang difference nitong bibliography or reference list. But ang pinaka-core lang nito is that lahat ng sources of information na ginamit ninyo, it should be included in bibliography or sa reference list. Okay? And then number 7 po, 7th step, yan, is we analyze and synthesize yung atin po na findings. No? So ngayon, from the organized literature, we are going to extract and then summarize yung main findings natin. No, yung arguments as well as yung conclusion from each source. Okay? So we are to look for some patterns, some trends, and then yung gaps po dun sa ating literature. And then we are going to analyze paano ba naging different yung mga papaano ba na yung mga different studies natin ay related sa isa't isa, no? And also, papaano sila naging related dun sa ating research question or sa research objective problem po natin, no? And then, pang ilan na to? Pang 8 na step, no, is yan, ilalagay na natin, susulatin na po natin yung ating literature review. No, kung saan po we are going to introduce yung ating, syempre, laging ganun, laging nagsisimula dun sa research question or dun sa research problem natin, ano ba ang reason, ano ang purpose, ba't tayo ay nagko-conduct ng review, no? And then, tayo po ay, in the presentation ng ating literature review, i-discuss natin yung literature natin in a structured format, no? Pwede siya na chronologically, pwede siya na thematically or methodologically, no? So, ako, whenever I check manuscripts or papers, I always ask na i-present siya into chronological order. Ibig sabihin, you present it from latest to oldest, no? So, para makita natin what are the advancement throughout the years, ano ba ang naging pagbabago sa mga researches na related dun sa area of research ninyo. Okay? So, i-compare natin, compare and contrast yung mga findings natin, i-highlight yung mga significant na studies, and then we are going to address the gaps. No? And then from there, we summarize yung main insights, we identify the gaps and inconsistencies, and we are going to suggest yung mga areas pa, recommendation, kumbaga, na pwede pang gawan ng research pa in the future, no? And then yung last part is to revise, review, revise, and finalize. Okay? So, we have to make sure na yung nagawa natin, yung nasulat natin na literature review, will be reviewed also ng mga peers or ng mentors natin, panels, okay, to get feedback, to get comments and suggestion para mas mag-improve pa yung ginawa nating literature review. No. So if in case na we are given such feedbacks, such comments and suggestion, so we have to make sure na we make the necessary revision based nga dun sa mga naging comment na yon to ensure yung clarity as well as the coherence nung atin pong ating uh, kinonduct na study. So parang ano lang yan. Kaya nga, kapag kayo ay nag-defense, lalo pag project study, no, so, or even sa atin, sa RM pa lang, you'll be defending your topic proposal. No? So there will be, I'm very sure, na comments and suggestion to improve. So, it is necessary na yun po ay i-revise ninyo. No? So, well, sa project study 1, talagang necessary siya. Kasi kapag hindi nyo siya ni-revise, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng final grade. No? Kasi sa project study 1, no? Same with project study 2. No? And then finalize, no? So we are to conduct the finalization as well as the submission. So make sure natin na yung literature review po natin ay of course well organized, no? Everything and anything will be properly cited and formatted according dun sa required na style na sinusunod natin. So, example yan, EPA, MLA, or Harvard referencing. No. So, we should submit after noong presentation, we should submit it this literature review as part of the research paper or thesis or dissertation. Or pwede rin naman na stand-alone na review ng article if siya po ay applicable. No. Okay? So, on page 32 naman, listed there are the steps. No. Okay. Yung mga tips po to help us perform yun pong effective na literature review. So, medyo madami ito. So, pero actually, medyo ulit-ulit na lang din dahil nadaanan na naman natin during the discussion yung iba dito. No? So, pero ulitin ko lang din. No? So, una po dyan is for you to unang clearly define yung research question natin or yung problem po natin na ini-investigate natin. This helps you focus yung atin pong literature search. Then number two, lagyan natin ng boundary. We have to decide yung boundaries po nung gagawa natin ng review, including yung time frame, geographical location, and specific aspect ng ating pong topic na i-cover. And then number three, sabi nga natin kanina, you are to utilize various academic databases and web pages, search engines such as Google Scholar, IEEE Explore, Science Direct, PubMed, JSTOR. So, maliban dito, huwag pong kakalimutan yung mga books, conference papers, and yung mga informations po na nanggaling sa mga reputable na websites. The next is, yeah. So we can use a combination of relevant keywords and phrases para ma-ensure na thorough ang search process natin. So pwede, no, kung halimbawang dun sa wording na napili mo ay wala kang makita, pwede tayong gumamit ng synonyms ng word na iyon as well as yung mga related terms, no, kumbaga yung malapit doon. And the next is to conduct this snowball technique wherein when you check the references of relevant papers, no, so makakakita ka pa rin ng iba't iba pang mga sources, no. For example, kayo ay nagbasa ng thesis, no. Kayo ay nagbasa ng thesis para kayo makakuha ng info. Makikita nyo doon na meron din yung mga previous na proponents or researchers, meron silang naging, kumbaga, na-cite na other studies, no, kung saan, kumbaga, doon din sila kumuha ng information. Kasi dahil ng literature review ka, nakita mo yun, pwede mo rin pa ulit makita yung sources na iyon. Na hanggang sa lumawak ng lumawak, no, halimbawa, may reference, tapos ay may na-cite, naging reference mo na rin siya. Tapos yung reference na iyon, may reference pa ulit, pwede mo pa ulit makita. So parang yun yung ano ng snowball technique. Kasi kung i-imagine niyo, no, for those na nakapagpunta na sa other country na may snow, ang proseso kasi kaya tinawag na snowball technique is that halimbawa small lang siya na i-collect mo tapos bibilugin mo. Tapos kapag siya ay pinagulong mo, no, pag pinagulong mo, didikit ng didikit yung mga snow hanggang sa dulo, eh, sobrang laki na nung snowball mo. So, parang ganun din yung gustong mangyari dito sa snowball technique na ito. Na, in the end, isa lang yung reference mo, but in the end, ang dami-dami mong possible na sources na pwedeng gamitin. No. Okay? And then, you can use tools also like EndNote, Mendeley, or Sotero, no, to keep track of your references and organize your literature. So basically, ito yung ginagamit in organizing your literatures na ipe-present on the bibliography or reference list. No? Like for example, this Mendeley, you just have to input all the bibliographic details and then automatically magpa-plot na siya or magpa-present na siya based sa kung anong klase ng referencing style ang ifa-follow mo. So, para mas madali na rin sa inyo, hindi na kayo mag-arrange according to what referencing style you are using. Now, and then next po is organize your literature thematically, chronologically, or methodologically. This helps in presenting a clear narrative in your research. And the next po is ensure na yung sources natin ay directly related sa inyo pong research question. Next, prefer peer-reviewed journal articles, books from reputable publishers, and publications by recognized experts in the field. No? So, para maiwasan na kumbaga, hindi naman kaguluhan. At least para dun, kapag dun kayo nag-base, legit talaga yung data na makukuha ninyo. Sabi nga natin, this should be of high quality na klase ng information and researchers. No. And the next po is you are to evaluate no the methodology, data, and conclusion of the studies to determine yun pong validity and reliability ng inyong ni-review na literature. Okay? Next po, no, is for each source, summarize the main arguments, findings, and methodologies. Note any gaps in the literature that you research could address. And then next po, you can compare and contrast different studies, noting agreements, contradictions, and debates pagdating po sa field natin. And then next naman is to look for common themes, patterns, and trends across the literature. Okay? And then you can also write a coherent narrative that summarizes the current state ng atin pong knowledge. So this is the part naman ng gap analysis na. No? And how it is relate to your research question. Okay. And then we can also point out significant contributions and how they have advanced to the field. And then last two, no, is yan, we should update regularly, no. So, syempre, mas maganda na mas bago, no. As new research is published, update yung mga literature review natin to ensure it remains current. No? So, halimbawa, long-term kind of research yan na talagang taon bago matapos. So, hanggat naari yung researches na i-consider natin ay laging bago. No? And then, lastly, set alerts. So we use database alerts to stay informed about new publications in your area of interest. Okay? So, para sabay-sabay lang, hanggang dito na lang muna tayo. No, ah sa i-discuss natin for chapter 4. No? So, para sabay-sabay yung apat na section ko for today. No? So, do you have any question, concern, clarification with the topics that we discussed? Hello? Hello
Wala
po.
naman po.
Wala naman po. Parang nabawasan na kayo ng nabawasan. No? Okay po. Wala pong concern, question, clarification. Ma'am, manimkim po. Present na late lang po kanina. Okay po. Sige. Ano sa online po nag-aantay? Ano yun? Okay po. So, meron pa? Okay, siguro. Sige, Utoy. May question pa po? Okay. So, kung wala na po tayong question, concern, clarification, so, I already received, no, so meron akong mga na-receive na ng topic proposal, no. So, I think I already checked it, no. Okay, Utoy. Okay, Ineng. I already checked it. Nasa faculty room lang, no, kasi iniwanan ko na doon because I thought tayo naman ay kumbaga ako naman ay pupunta sa school. Actually, pupunta na ako sa school, kaya lang sabi work from home daw. So, umuwi na ako. O, para safe, di ka malay mo umulan ng malakas na malakas, kaya ako umuwi na. So, as I can remember, parang marami ang kasi sama-sama na siya, pinagsama-sama ko na with other section. Parang marami doon I commented to propose more topics, no. Parang iilan lang talaga yung parang inapprovean ko. Actually, may mga comment pa nga ako na dapat i-revise para mas maging okay yung topic title nila. No? So, for all of you, so I guess, di mag-prepare din ng okay po. No. So, kung wala ng question, concern, clarification, so, yan, Utoy, Mr. De La Peña.
Ma'am, pag magpo-propose po, ay prefer niyo pong face-to-face po o pwede naman pong online?
Pwede naman pong online, no? Di next meeting, tapusin lang natin yung chapter 4 natin. Patapos na naman siya. I-discuss natin. Kaya lang, section 6 tayo. Ano, hindi ko sure kasi parang meron kaming pupuntahan by Thursday. I think we will be attending a conference sa UP Diliman. I don't know kung sure na yon kung matutuloy siya because of the weather nga. Pero inform ko na lang kayo. Kung hindi, siguro, siguro mag-discuss tayo kung libre kayo by Wednesday. Or siguro tomorrow pag may pasok. Kasi morning naman, kung wala kaming meeting, ay titingnan natin. No, titingnan natin. Kung hindi, sa Friday, no, okay po.
Tanong ko din po kung okay lang din po sa inyo na mag-schedule po kami ng parang meet po as a group. Tapos
Yun,
propose po kami.
yun utoy. Kaya sabi ko, pwede naman siya Tuesday. No, pwede siya Tuesday, siguro from 8, yan, 8 to 10. Depende ha, dahil nga ang aming Tuesday utoy ay ano yon, laging nakaschedule na meeting with the dean. Pero may mga times naman na wala kaming meeting, so ginagamit ko siya pagdating sa consultation nga, checking ng mga thesis, ayan. So, yun, nagagamit ko siya. So, siguro inform ko na lang or pwede message isa sa inyo, ma'am, free po kayo ngayong Tuesday? Okay, sige. No, sasabihin ko sa inyo. And then, let's meet dito sa meeting room natin sa Google Classroom natin. Okay po?
Okay po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Okay po. So, kung wala ng question, concern, ako'y magla-lunch pa lang.